So good afternoon, everyone. This is an honor for a female monastic to have the opportunity to share the Dhamma reflection with all of you today. Thus, I shall begin for about 15 minutes, followed by Mae Chee Bahn for an additional 15 minutes. So, before I begin, I'd like to apologize for my English in advance, in case you are the English grammar expert. It might not feel smooth to you, but so we use this opportunity to see our own condition. I am very grateful to be here. So it's my first time to attend Ajahn Jayasaro retreat, and the first time at Boon. Okay, this one better. So my monastery is in the UK, and it's a rare occasion for me to come to Thailand. So I often see Ajahn Jayasaro talks on the screen, and it feels very different to hear his Dhamma teaching in person. So sometimes I wonder what it feels like if we could hear the Buddha, Ajahn Man, Ajahn Chah teaching in person. So, what I can pick up on the Ajahn Jayasaro teaching this time, I think he laying the foundation of the practice for us to be able to use in any situation in life. So to make sure that we can find peace in all the circumstances. Mindfulness practice is when we first practice, we might have our own condition, expectation, imagination, something more advanced, something glamorous, something a lot. The whole sutta we need to learn. But when you come to the Theravada forest tradition, like someone like Ajahn Jayasaro, more than 40 years of practice. So, Long Sumeto, more than 50 years of the practice. Very much saying the same thing. So look at the breath, being with the breath, being with the present moment, aware of what's going on in this moment right now. The reality is like this. Pain is like this. Happiness is like this. Peaceful is like this. some of the Ajahn might like to use Putto or other meditation object. But the teaching is very much of the reminder of being the present moment, being in the reality at this moment. So 3 years ago, Luang Por Sumedho moved back to Amaravati, where I stayed the monastery at Oden. He would give the Dhamma talk every week to the community. And his Dhamma talk, I didn't pay much attention at the beginning. I thought it's a Dhamma talk, like one of the talk. You listen and then, okay. But again and again and again, every week, he say the same thing. Trust the awareness. Be in the present moment. The reality is like this. And somehow, six months later, I feel like I woke up. And I was thinking, yes, must be something. Otherwise, he won't to say it again and again. Even though you go back to his teaching in the previous years, he just say very much the same thing. But just the same, Ajahn Jayasaro, so try to tell us, even this, from the beginning of this retreat until this morning, his Dhamma teaching still very much the same. Keep reminding us to come back to here and now, this present moment, whatever you feel. To be the witness of it. Just observe. So after seeing Luang Por Sumedho, Ajahn Jayasaro, even my preceptor, Ajahn Amaro, and many more seniors in this lineage, they are so peaceful. I don't feel they suffer that much. Their suffering is so small. That's how I see them. I don't think anything could shake them that much. And I just realized, is it a practice? Just that. Somehow I did follow them. So whatever feeling or emotion, whatever happiness or the painful on that day, how hectic, whatever criticism receive or how painful the situation, it's always just like that. Always come back and trust in the awareness. And now I say the same thing. Yeah, years later, I've seen them หลวงพ่อสุเมธ back to Marathi. I gain more and more trust and awareness. And I would be a little voice here to tell you and keep reminding you and myself. And you can keep reminding yourself that just be the witness of whatever that happened. It might be challenging for some people right now, today, because today is our last day, full day together. It might be some of the feeling or emotion or thing that you put it down before the retreat. And slowly keep manifesting back to you at this stage. But I hope that your awareness will be sharper. So it's really nice to use this opportunity to don't push anything away, but just step back a little bit and then observe, look around it, investigate a little bit, but not manipulating or suppressing or pushing it away. Just open your heart to just slowly receive what is happening right now in the reality. Sometimes the reality is not that beautiful, or it might be too beautiful sometimes. That's also okay. Don't touch it. That's what I would say. We just keep reminding ourselves again and again. Same with myself too. I know it's easier said than done. But I do feel that this is what we have to do. Somehow we will gain our wisdom by training our mind with this simple exercise again and again.
It was quite a surprise for me to have this Ajahn Jayasaro as my teacher to instruct me to give a talk. I think immediately that was one of his serious torment training on me, just the suffering, just how to make the disciple suffer and to find the mental state within that. But I promised myself, if the teacher's not here, I'm not going to faint. So, because I don't want to take the joy away from him. And I remember that I've been spending the past few years in solitude. When I was informed that there's a retreat and finally opened after 5 years, surprised, I didn't sense excitement. But I clearly experienced the rising of a thought. It's very clear. I still remember vividly till today, this moment. So, wow, welcome to the club of suffering. Actually, the whole practice of Dhamma is about suffering. To know suffering, to understand the cause of it, to realize how to abandon this suffering, the cause of suffering. And there's a clear way that lead to the result. Like we chant in the morning, that we should bring a complete ending to the whole mess of suffering. So these key words, one is complete and one is whole. Not partially. Because if any seed for the hatred, and delusion, hatred, and greed still hiding somewhere deeply, it will get sprout sooner or later when cause and condition comes to mature. So welcome everybody. That I know some of you, but I feel I know you all because we're on the same path. And this is a very auspicious moment. Not only we can meet our venerable teacher and the Sangha, but I'm sure that everyone here, with no exception, has accumulated enough merit, good karma, to be here, to be brought to this path, to with everybody, to continue, not to start, not to restart, but to continue what's already started in our past life. You may not have this confidence because I clearly sense a lot of suffering in this group, that body aches and people fidgeting and also the mental activities and the state. And all this sometimes the moment you just scream, the mind starts to scream and thinking, bring me out of here. Everything that I expected to get from this retreat probably just subside that moment. And you will really doubt, am I coming to the right place? These few moments you even get agitated to the wise words teaching that from our venerable teacher. But it's not your mind creating problems. This is the nature of an untrained mind. If you can clearly see that it's not my mind creating all these mental activities and mental states, but this is the nature of an untrained mind, you have a gap to be an observer, to see all these truths. And that's why to be present, and you can only, when you remain in the present moment, you'll be able to see that gap. Why we practice Anapanasati? It's a very advanced training. It's a very advanced technique because it's so refined. In today's life, we're so used to stimulus. The internet brings everything penetrating into our life. Everything, we can spin everything, the whole world around our fingertips. And what we're lacking of? Patience. We upgrade all the technology to 3G, 4G, 6G, 5G, whatever. But nothing can be faster than the spinning of the mind. Our thought is moving faster than the light speed. So without practice, we can inevitably remain as the slave to this delusion and never get a chance to get away out of it. So the breath gives us opportunity. First, it costs nothing. You can practice all the time until really by observing the breath, and you'll be able to experience and discover that gap. The breath is the closest manifestation to the mind. So by watching the quality and the state of the breath, you will be able, or it's easier for us to understand the quality and the state of your mind, much easier. Like Ajahn addressed, you have to enjoy, you have to like what you do. At the beginning, it's like, how can we enjoy this very plain, blank, nothing really there? I can, find many more things more interesting than this. How can I possibly, we either fall into sleep or just get agitated about this really refined existence. But if you watch it closely, you will see actually, ask yourself a question. How much you understand about your breath? I would say not your breath, it is the breath. So the first noble truth is not about we have suffering, it's there is suffering. There's a statement, there's an issue in life. So there is breath. You are not breathing. We can only experience the breathing. We are not owning the breath. We're not owning the thought. We're not owning anything. If you truly understand anicca, anatta, that gives us so much positive force to continue because, hey, we are not attached to anything. But the first noble truth is all about attachment, like we sing, chanting in the morning, attached to the form, attached to the thought, to the feeling tone, attached to the thought, attached to the mental formation, attached to the sensual consciousness. So all this attachment cause really, I suffer. And this suffering, I would like to put into another word that easily for people to accept is dis-ease, disease. We are all patient. We have the disease that we are not even aware we have it. Dis-ease, in 2 words, is how many times, if you live a fantastic life, there's moments that you feel dis-ease. then as long as you still have that feeling, and that seed to cause that disease will get sprout one day. So when Ajahn addressed the present moment is the classroom. For us, all of us, no exception, other monastics or lay, I don't see any difference between us and you. We are all the people that human being or become before we become human being fully. That we are beings who are striving our life on the same path for the end of suffering, for liberation, or for enlightenment, whatever you call it. And then how exactly that we can make this applicable to our daily life. I mean, we come into a retreat, but you look at the word retreat. It's also two parts of the word retreat. That means you have to treat yourself again, every moment, every day, all your life, till death comes to you. Then you ask yourself, am I ready to welcome, to receive this very end moment of death? So the current and the present moment is a hope, is the wonder, is the power, is where wisdom arises, that guide us to cut through all the darkness and step into the brightness, the knowing, the knowledge. And then finally we can apply all this wisdom to our every moment life. So how we exactly make this Four Noble Truths as a manual book or handy book that we can use in every moment in our life? For me, it's very simple. Because when I talk about Noble Truths, and people thinking, wow, this is so profound. It's like a masterpiece. You frame it and you put it on the wall to worship, to look up to. But does it have something to do with my daily life? Maybe not. So I sometimes look at Ajahn, we're thinking, oh, he's such a great human being, but he's there. There's never a chance that I will approach to the state like his state, but actually it's not true, because the quality, I've seen a lot of same quality in Ajahn than in all of us. We just need to enhance it, to abandon also those doesn't belong to, path to liberation, and then learning how to abandon. So to learn how to stay in the present moment and to learn the Four Noble Truths is every single moment that you have to be aware with mindfulness, which Ajahn said not to forget, to observe your mind. What's the mental activity arising in this very present moment? And followed by what is the mental state right after or along with this mental activity. Or sometimes it could be the body sensation. So you have to be constantly, not to forget, bear in mind, watch your own mind, the mental state, and use the four virya, abandon what's already arisen, this unwholesome, and then try to prevent those yet arisen unwholesome, and then continue and to try to develop, encourage this wholesome to rise, and also keep cultivating those already risen wholesome state in your mind. That will become the only priority in your life, nothing else. It is the only priority in your life. You have to go beyond right and wrong, should and shouldn't, like or dislike. It's not saying that you should totally ignore right or wrong. It's when the mind is agitated and distorted, you will never have. You're already away from the present moment, which is the classroom, and wisdom will never ever rise anywhere else except the present. So you're handling things without wisdom, and you will always end with suffering yourself and make other people suffer. So back to the present moment means back to the place where panya, wisdom, has a chance to arise, to guide our words and deeds. So we can protect ourselves, benefit ourselves, and also make people all around us benefiting from our very skillful actions by body, speech, and mind. So whenever I understand that all of you, including myself, very surprisingly, this is the first time of the many years I was made to sit in front of a big group and then to talk. I remember someone gave me very nice advice. I heard this from many people. Then said, Mae Chee, if you talk, please raise your voice, because I'm used to talk to myself, and I really enjoyed it. And I've sensed a lot of pain in myself, and I also sensed a lot of challenges, body and also mentally, in all of you, my dear friends. So you're not here to listen to the Ajahn only. You're here to learn how to listen to yourself. You're not coming here to take a retreat. You're coming here to learn to adapt. How to adapt yourself into this present moment where everything's rising, any single piece occurring that in this life, and you learn to adapt. This present moment, you are not even intending to make a change, but you have to adapt it, and then with a very calm mind, you will come up with the solution or the action that, guided by the wisdom, same time rising from the very present moment, and to guide you move forward. All we need to worry, all we need to be concerned is this present moment. And why the breath is so important is a very, very useful tool, because you can practice any time. Even in the very boring, tedious meeting, you can really observe your breath by not involving with this, like sometimes wasting time of activities. But you know, human beings, we're born to waste our times in many activities, so it's not a big thing. But this breath, you know, it has like let's come back to the breath. It has 4 parts. It's not only inhalation and exhalation. It has an inhalation followed by a gap, then exhalation, then followed by a gap. As Ajahn addressed many times, that the end of the exhalation is vital, because this is usually, or most likely, that where our sati and mindfulness started to drop off. I would add something more, that I would encourage or inviting all of you to pay special attention to the very end of the exhalation, how it ends. We can have agreement. Let's see that whether it's possible for you to really observe the very end of your exhalation, and you can really like register that spot. If any of you can register that very ending spot of the exhalation, you will be able to manage your mind. You will be able to start Vipassana practice one day. But if you are very absent-minded and just like heedlessly watching your breath, and nothing's gonna happen, you can either fall into sleep or just like watch it as if we watch everything in life, and it's not like full-heartedly. So the breath, the whole quality of the breath is the reflection of the quality of the mind. If one can study the breath, one will be able to study the mind. So the end of the exhalation, if you can slowly, not to create, and it's also very important, you are actually watching the breath. You are not the one who is breathing. You observe the breath. You are not observing the way you are breathing. So every now and again, when we breathe, we observe them, we kind of put a lot of like a mental proliferation to that. We don't even aware that we are changing or manipulating our breath. So the challenge is, if you started adding all this, the list of challenge, and this whole practice just becomes something very interesting. That how can you imagine that we are born with the first breath and we're going to leave this world with the last breath? This should be the most intimate friend in our life. How much do we know about it? How much do we know about it? There's so many things in life we skipped, and we just give so many importance to a lot of fuss. So, to this very loyal companion in our life, try to study it, understand it, and it will be the greatest help ever on the path. No matter how far you can walk this lifetime, if you can run, never stop. If you can't, try to creep. And if you cannot even creep, you just wait. But you have to make a promise to yourself that I'm not going to pull back. Because once you pull back, you're not only giving away the opportunity for the wisdom to rise and the goddess to step out free from the suffering, but you're empowering all these mental, unwholesome mental states that we need to uproot eventually. I never feel lonely because I know that a lot of people, even that we don't see each other, and maybe after this retreat, we will be never seeing each other again. But as long as we human, as a whole race, we practice, we have some faith, which is beyond the worldly success, that gives me joy. That, like Ajahn said, we're not here to learn meditation to become a good meditator. We're not here to practice Dhamma to become a Buddhist. We're here to learn how to fully become a human being, not a human doing, not a human going, not a human feeling, or worse, not a human fighting. So I wish all of you take this retreat just as a stop and give yourself whole time. If you feel the pain, embrace the pain, study the pain, enjoy the pain, because we learn so much from things we dislike. And if you fall into, I don't want to deal with that, you are adding fuel to the cause of suffering. And if you're just having some really wonderful meditation experience and got interrupted by the bell or by some movement from your neighbor, and if you're agitated, you also have to know that you're also adding fuel to the cause of suffering, because you want things to continue and you don't want things you don't like to continue. It's just simple like that. The Four Noble Truth is so down to the earth. Don't hang it on the wall. Don't read it in your mind. Practice with your heart every single moment. Breath. Remembering, reflecting the teacher's words, but he cannot do the job for us. I attended retreat like all of you on 2018, the very first time. I think I have confidence to say I was more deluded and more ignorant, maybe than most of you. Here I am standing here, sitting here. I can tell you this path is worth us to give our life to. My best wishes for all of you. I wish you can all get the best out of you and then return to your Monday duty to share the Dhamma with people you love and you care, or even you don't care. This is the best gift that we can give to the world and to ourselves. Thank you for being together. Like Ajahn said, we are alone together. We're always alone together. Thank you.